So you want to learn how to do the middle splits? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you an epic intermediate routine that's going to teach you all about end range strength. If you want to fully nail the middle splits, it's not just about how flexible your adductors are, the muscles that allow you to stretch into the splits, it's also about how strong the opposing muscle groups are, the glutes, the abductors that are going to help you to get there. Make sure you stick around to the end because I guarantee you this is a groundbreaking routine that you will never have seen before. All that and more coming up right after this.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
Hi, in case we haven't met, my name is Rad Burmeister. I'm one of the co-founders of Unity Gym and co-creators of the UMS, Unify Movement System, where we take driven people and turn them into superhumans. Now, the way that we get such amazing results with our members is that we've created a program that has a perfect balance between strength and flexibility. If you want to know how we do that, download one of the free blueprints. There's a link in the description for all of them, the flexibility blueprint, the strength blueprint, and the nutrition blueprint. All right, let's get into this video. The whole idea of this end range strength program for the middle splits is that what we're going to do is we're going to strengthen the glutes, the abductors, the muscles that pull your legs apart into the splits position. And we're going to do that before we actually stretch the adductors. Well, actually it happens at the same time, but before we actually go into the hardcore splits stretches for this series, we're going to be doing a lot of strengthening work for the glutes, for the abductors. So this first one is called the butterfly overcoming isometric. So I'm going to need 2 yoga blocks or something like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my butterfly here. So the closer I can get my legs to the groin, the better it's going to be. It's very important that my whole back is up against the wall, so my bum and my shoulders are flat against the wall. And look, as always, when you do these workouts, from set to set, you get better and better and better. So if you measure your middle splits at the start of the workout, then measure it at the end, you'll be so much better at it. I'm completely cold whilst I'm doing this, so as I make this video, I'll warm up a little bit, I hope. But yeah, these aren't my best efforts, so it's okay, you can still get what I'm talking about. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 reps, and what I'm gonna do is bring these blocks under my legs until they just barely touch my legs. I'm gonna grab onto my feet, and now I'm gonna drive my knees down as hard as I can for 10 seconds. We're gonna do 3 reps like that. So I'll take a breath, and then drive my knees down as hard as I can. Now I relax, and then I'm gonna bring the blocks out a little bit further, and I'm gonna do the same again. You take a look at how hard I'm trying here. This is very, like, maximum effort here. Deep breath. Okay, relax, and then we go a little bit wider. And again, deep breath. And relax, and that's 1 set. So there's so many different ways you can do this workout, but a really good starting point is to go for 3 sets like that. So the next one we're going to do here is butterfly loaded lifts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in my butterfly position, and now what we're actually doing is we're trying to fatigue the adductors, so the muscles that if they're tight they're going to prevent you from going into the splits. So when you do the splits, these are the muscles you're stretching. So we've just worked on, you know, strengthening and driving the glutes down, the knees down by strengthening the glutes. So now we're going to pre-fatigue the adductors. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a couple of weights here. Kettlebells are fine. I like dumbbells because I just like the way that they come up, and we've got these nice Watson dumbbells here. So what I want to do is I've got 15 kilos, so that's about 34 pounds, or I don't know exactly what it would be in pounds. This is a decent weight. For me, it's not too heavy, but like a heavy weight for me would be 20 kilos, so about 45 pounds. So you've got to figure out where you want to start. If you're somebody that's not as strong and doesn't have as much muscle mass as me, you probably want to start, you know, down around the 5 or 5 kilo or 11 pound point, and you know, figure out where you want to go from there. But it's always better to start lighter and then work your way up. So we're going to bring these weights up, put them on my knees, and then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 8 reps where I contract as hard as I can, and then I'm going to relax. Now I'm going to contract as hard as I can. 2, Now you might find that over the set, your knees can't get as high as they did at the start. That's totally fine. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. Okay, now on the last set, so the third set, what you're going to do, we'll pretend that this is my third set, even though it's my first. We're just going to relax and let the weight pull you down for 30 seconds. So I'm completely relaxed here, and I'm just allowing the weight to push me down. So I'm getting a really, really good stretch in the adductors now, a loaded stretch. And what's happening is, because I've just done these 3 sets of the butterfly loaded lift, my adductors are fatigued now. So it's very, very hard for them to tense and fight me and prevent my knees from going down. So this is a really, really good way to increase your middle splits by doing this. So let's say that's 30 seconds, and that's my third set. So this one's probably the funniest name you're going to hear in a long time for an exercise. This is called the pissing dog. And what we're going to do, I'm going to set myself up so that I'm on all fours, and I've got a wall next to me. The distance that the wall is from your body is completely dependent on how much flexibility you have in your hips, but the idea is that I want to be able to drive my knee and my foot into that wall without twisting my body, without shifting my weight. So this is good for me, but I can even come out a little bit further because I've done this for quite a while. But as soon as I get to a point where the only way I can touch the wall is that I have to twist my body like this, I've gone too far, okay? So what I'm going to do from here, I'm actually going to do 3 reps. I'm going to push into the wall for 10 seconds. So from here, I'm going to push my leg into the wall and hold it for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's a few things you want to look for here. You want to make sure that the knee and the foot are both at the same height. What people tend to do is they tend to raise the foot a little bit higher like that, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that the knee is at the same height as the foot. So this would be too high, but this would be too low. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the knee in line with the foot. The other thing is, as I said before, you can actually use a yoga block here to put across on your pelvis so that you can feel if your pelvis is twisting and if the yoga block comes off, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to use the abductors to move the hip out like that. We're not trying to rotate the body like that to get the knee into the wall, okay? So for this one, we're going to do 3 sets of 3 reps, and each rep is a 10-second hold, driving as hard as you can into the wall and really activating those glutes. So the last one that we're going to do is called the active middle split. So everything that you've done in the workout now was to get you up to this point so that you can really start working the middle splits. Now, in the previous video that we did something called the eccentric middle split. So it's where we were just loading down eccentrically, and then we grabbed onto a bench and lifted ourselves up. So now we're going to actually go down and hold an isometric contraction. So it's good to have a dowel rod like this or a bench in front of you. A dowel rod's good because if you're not that flexible, you can still hold up high. A bench, you need to be a bit more flexible to get lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down as low as I can comfortably go. Now, for a lot of you, this will be it. You know, I mean, a lot of you won't even be able to do this. So once I get to this point where I feel like, oh, okay, that's the end of my splits, I'm going to pull my legs together. So watch what happens to my hips and my feet. Pull them together, and I'm going to hold as hard as I can for 30 seconds, okay? So let's presume that you're a little bit better than that, and what we're going to do, we're going to go right down, okay, and you're going to get to your full range of active range of motion, and then you're going to pull your legs together, and you don't need to do this. I'm just illustrating that I'm not actually using the stick. So as long as you're not using the stick, as long as you feel like at this point here, you're really standing on your feet and holding yourself up. And then when you finish, you can use the stick to come back in like this. Now, when you get down into the splits, into your full range of motion, you're going to hold that for 30 seconds. So the timer doesn't start when you start going down. The timer starts when you get down and you lift your, well, you don't have to lift the stick off the ground as long as you're not leaning on the stick, as long as you're just kind of holding it like that and you're squeezing your legs together and all the weight's in your legs. So once you get down to that point, that's when the timer starts and you hold for 30 seconds. And we want to do this for between 3 and 5 rounds. So this is where we're doing the real work and you know, really trying to develop some flexibility. And it's really important to remember here, when you're doing stretching, and especially loaded stretching like this, you really need to understand the difference between pain and discomfort. When you stretch, stretching is far less about trying to make the muscles longer and more elastic like a lot of people think. The muscles are already elastic. It's about teaching the nervous system to not kick in and tighten the muscles up as a defense mechanism. So what happens is when you get closer to your end range of motion, the muscle spindles tighten up the muscles, they sense that there's a potential risk of injury, and they tighten up the muscles to prevent your joint from going any further through this range of motion. And what we're doing is, by stretching, we're teaching the nervous system to delay that response. So it delays when it kicks in that response and tightens up the muscles. Now, if you train to the point of pain, what happens is you actually stifle that process, and you teach the nervous system that its fears were grounded and that it does need to kick in earlier than that to protect itself. So what happens is the next time you go and stretch, you're like, oh my God, I'm worse than I was the day before. That means you've trained to the point of pain. Now this takes time. You're not going to know this straight away. It's taken me years of practice to be able to learn what the difference between pain and discomfort is. But now that I understand, it's really important that when you stretch, you just stretch to the point of discomfort, not the point of pain. And sometimes if you have days where you feel like you're not as good as you were the day before, it's totally fine. Don't push yourself. Just go to the point of discomfort, allow the process to unfold, and let me know how you're going. Leave some comments in this video. We always respond to the comments and answer questions, so we'll help you out, and let's get some middle splits going. And make sure you watch the later videos in this series. We're filming today a whole bunch of videos because the popularity of our beginner middle splits video has proven itself. So there's going to be, this is a beginner to intermediate, there's going to be an intermediate one, and then an intermediate to advanced, or more like an advanced one that you can watch as well, so check those out. Thanks for watching. I really hope that you learned something with this video. This really is an amazing routine, and it's helped me and many of our thousands of members around the world nail the middle splits. Now, as I said at the start of this video, this is actually an intermediate routine. So we've got a really cool beginner's routine, actually a couple of them on this channel if you want to watch those. Now, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified when our new videos come online. And if you want to know anything about fitness, strength, flexibility, anything that you'd like us to do a video on, please leave a comment and we'll get around to making it as soon as we can. Have a great day, enjoy your training.